Hi, everyone. Okay, I've put two questions up on the board while we wait for everyone to get here. So you can give them a go and you can let me know what your answers are when you're feeling good with them. But while you're working on that, can you let me know where you are at with exams? Have you started writing? Are you not writing exams? Or do you start in a week? Do you start in 2 weeks? Let me know in the chat, or let me know, or unmute and chat to me and let me know what your situation is so we can know when your exams start. Hi, Noazi. Starting on the 15th. Okay, so 2 more weeks. That's not so bad. Gives you some time, Canva, to get ready. Oh, also, okay, 16th. Okay, so we're in November, so no one started yet. Oh, next week. Oh, sorry, guys. Only on the 17th. Okay. Oh, it's better that it's your first exam, Keegan, because then it's done. So like you're writing it when your brain is feeling fresh. So it's good. Okay. All right. Once you've let me know about your exams, then please give these two questions a try that are on the board. I'm looking for A. In A, I'm trying to find the lengths of the sides of the square. And in B, I'm trying to find B. And then we're going to move into triangles today, which will hopefully be fun. Try and remember your formulas for the first one because it's not as difficult as it seems. Think about how we find the area of a square and then try and work backwards from that. You just missed out A for me, Keegan, just went straight to B. That's okay. You're hardly late at all. We just started. Hello to those of you who I have not said hello to yet. It's okay. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. So if you're struggling with these two questions, don't panic. I will talk you through them once everyone's finished. And then we're going to move into triangles, which will be new for everyone, except for those of you who've done them in class. So don't stress. And remember, you can always watch the video if you go to the Watobe website. They're all there. It's okay, Wandile. Okay, so I see some answers coming in for B. And I got to be honest, I'm not hating those answers. I'm not hating them. But I'm not seeing any answers for my length of my side of my square. I feel like we've just ignored that question. No. You have divided by 2, which we don't want to do. But good guess. We can only learn by trying. Also, no Canva. But good efforts. I think what you did, let me see, let me calculate a few things. Okay, so Canva, what you did is you divided by 4. So that would be right if they'd said that the perimeter of the square was 50,41. Then what you did was right. Oh, I'm seeing a very nice answer in the chat. I like it. Let's see if anyone else can try and get to that answer. And then I'm going to go through both of these. So these are both trickier questions because you have to work backwards, but I thought it would be good for your brains, especially because I didn't see you on Monday. Okay, I'm just going to give you 1 more minute and then we're going to go through them. And hello to all of you who I have not said hello to yet. Nice to have you here tonight. Hello. Okay, I'm just turning off my video so I can move my screen around and let's get going. Okay, so in A, this beautiful answer here of 7.1, which was making my heart very, very happy. Remember when we spoke about the area of a square? I told you it's one of those questions that they like to be sneaky about, because whenever we think of a square, we think, oh, it's going to be the same as the rectangle and it's going to be the length times the breadth, or the width times the length, or whichever letters we learn in school. But remember, the special thing about a square is that all of those sides are the same as each other. And so instead of saying length times breadth, we can actually say side times side. Or if we didn't want to have sides involved, we could say, well, this side is X and that side is X. And we know that they're the same as each other. And when we're looking at area of a square, in this case, it would be X times X. And another way of writing that is X squared. And they've told us that the area of the square is 50,41. That's okay to be, so thanks for letting me know. And so we're going to say, well, this area here is 50,41. And now if I'm wanting to find out what X is, I'm going to square root both sides so that X is alone. And I'm going to get the glorious answer of 7,1 meters. Don't forget your units. And that is A. So well done to those of you who got there. Nice. Okay, so for B, I saw quite a few people got the right answer, which is great. So let's quickly chat about B. When we're talking about this area of this rectangle, we know it's going to be our length times our breadth. And we know that this is the area because they told that to us. And so the area is 37.5, and that's going to be equal to B times 5. Now, B times 5, we can write that in a much nicer way with algebra. What's a nicer way of writing B times 5? Who can tell me? Like the fancy maths way.
5B.
Yes, thank you, Cumber. 5B. Yes, beautiful. Okay, remember, we always like to have our coefficient before the variable like that. That's great. Okay, so we've got 37.5 is equal to 5B. And now if we want B to be alone, we just divide both sides by 5. And we get this lovely answer of 7.5 centimeters. There's B. Don't forget your units. Okay, so that is our first 2 questions. Does anyone need me to sit on these 2 questions any longer? You're trying to write something down, trying to get it, just let me know, or just use like the little emoji hand. Thank you, Ndile. That's perfect. If everyone can see, I don't know if you can see his hand, but that's great. If you need time, you just let me know. That's okay to be, so please don't panic. We have lots of time. No, for B, we don't need to square root anything because it's not a square. It's a, I don't know, that sounds ridiculous, square roots and squares. But because it's a rectangle, we can just say the one times the other, which means when we're working backwards, we can just divide. The only time square rooting is going to come into this section is going to be when we're dealing with areas of squares. That's when square root questions can pop up. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to move on down. And we are going to move into triangles today. Okay, so we are going to use, so we're going to be talking about the area of a triangle today. And does anyone know already what the formula for the area of a triangle is? What I would write? I know someone knows. Come on, help me out. How do I write the area of a triangle? What is equal to what times what? What? That was me giving you a hint. Beautiful. Half base times height. Okay. Yes, guys. Thank you. Okay. So when we're working with the area of a triangle, we can write it in different ways. We can either write half base times height, or we could write it as base times height over 2, because these two mean the same thing as each other. Okay. The super important thing is that, so this B, that stands for base, just in case you guys haven't done this in class yet, and the H stands for height. And the really important thing is that that base is perpendicular to the height. And perpendicular means that they are at 90 degrees to each other. Okay, so I'm going to use this middle triangle as our first one because it's the easiest one to work from. Here, we can see that this over here would be our base, and this over here would be our height. And we know that because there's our 90-degree angle. Okay, so if we have a right angle triangle, it's nice and easy because we can see what's going on. If I'm looking at the triangle on the left, so the acute triangle, that's this one here. If I made a perpendicular height, so either it would have to be given to me, or we would have to find it using Pythagoras. And now we're pros at Pythagoras, so that's fine. If that was the height, then this over here would be my base. So that would be my base. Oh, goodness. And this would be my height. But it can be anywhere. So if I chose to draw my perpendicular height over there, then that would be my height and that would be my base. So it doesn't matter which ones we use as long as they are perpendicular to each other. Okay. And then on the right-hand side, we're dealing with an obtuse triangle. That's what this dude is, obtuse, because there's one angle that's bigger than 90 degrees. And again, I'm going to do a perpendicular height. I'm going to make it a dotted line because we're not going to use it. And that would be my perpendicular height. And that would be my base. Just be careful. It's only the part of the triangle. It doesn't include anything in the dotted area. It's just going to be that base of the triangle and then the height of the triangle. And I know you're going to be like, oh, this is so boring. I've done this forever. But if we haven't done, if we don't fully understand area of a triangle, things that we do in grade 10 and 11 get really, really hard. So this concept is super important. It filters into a lot of sections. So is there anything about these three pictures that anyone doesn't understand or they would like clarification on before we start looking at some questions? Don't be nervous to ask.
Ma'am, could you please explain more on the obtuse angle triangle?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so when we're looking at the obtuse angle triangle, there isn't a way for me to find a perpendicular height within this triangle because no matter where I go, I'm not going to get to where I need to be. Like I can't just drop something out of nowhere. So I've got two different options here. My one option is I could do what we've just suggested now. We make this our base. We find a top vertex and we drop down a line, and that would have to be given to you, or we'd have to be given like this and this so that we could do Pythagoras. So don't panic. It would never just be like something out of the blue. And then we would have to, because this is at 90 degrees, it means it's at 90 degrees to our base. So then we could say, well, that would be our height and this would be our base. But we could also, in this obtuse triangle, we could do a very similar thing to what we've done in the acute triangle. If we were able to drop a perpendicular line there, then that would be our height and that would be our base. Because whenever we are working out a triangle, all you're doing is you're taking a rectangle and you're cutting it in half. That's how we work out the area of a triangle. See if I just did that. It's half of a rectangle or a square, whatever. This looks more like a square, because the area of the square would be base times height, but we don't want the top half, we only want the bottom half. So we just cut it in two. And we're doing the same idea here. So this would be our hypothetical rectangle, and we're only wanting half of that space. And that's why we make this our base and that's our height. But I think it'll be easier when we start doing some practicing with it, when it's like less theoretical and more actual questions. Okay.
Thanks, ma'am.
I think I may have just confused you more. I think I spoke in circles. I'm very sorry. But we'll look at some questions now, and if you struggle, just let me know. Okay, so let's have a look at this first one. This one should be nice and easy. There's nothing complicated about it. I'm going to talk you through the first couple, though, just so that we're all on the same page. This is perpendicular to this line. And so that's telling me that this is my height and this is my base. Remember, we have to have them perpendicular to each other. So if I'm working out my area here, I'm going to say that my area is equal to my base times my height divided by 2. And we can just chuck that into our calculator, but we should get 28. And it is area. So we're going to have centimeters squared. Okay, so the most important thing when we're looking for the area of a triangle is to find the base and to find the height and to make sure that those two lines are perpendicular to each other. Don't worry, I'm going to leave this on the screen, so don't panic. But I would like you to try B for me. Now for B, you're going to have to do something before you can find your area, but I'm not going to say what, because we've done so many of them. So try and find B for me. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. And I'm liking them. Okay. All right. I'm going to talk through this one slowly in case there's anyone who's feeling horribly confused. When we're looking for the area of the triangle, so remember area is all of this on the inside, we have to have a base and we have to have a height, and they have to be perpendicular to each other. Okay, so here's our perpendicular sign, which means this is going to be our base and this has to be our height. but we don't have our height at the moment. But what we do have is a right angle triangle. And whenever we see a right angle triangle and we're missing a side, our brain needs to think, well, I can use Pythagoras. Okay. So if I'm trying to find h here, I'm going to say, well, h squared plus 8 squared is equal to 10 squared because of Pythagoras. And so h squared is equal to 100 minus 64, which means h squared is equal to 36. And so h is equal to 6. So now we know that that side there is 6. Now, before I carry on, is there anyone who is confused about what I've done so far? Okay.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
did the same thing, but when I found the Pythagoras, like the height, which was 6, I didn't know what else to do, so I ended there.
Okay. Okay, but that's good. That's really good that you got up to this point. That's really, really good. Okay, that's okay if you're confused. Thank you for letting me know. So the first thing when we're looking for area of a triangle, we know that we have to have our base and we know that we have to have a height. Okay, those are our two things that we look for, and we know that they have to be perpendicular to each other. So when we're looking at this triangle over here, we can see that they've given us this 10 and this 8. But if I'm looking at this line over, here, that 10 is definitely not perpendicular to that 8. So that means that if I'm using this 8 as my base, I can't use that 10 as my height because it's not perpendicular. I have to use this line over here as my height because it's at 90 degrees to the base. Now, because I have to use that height, I have to figure out what it is. And as soon as we have a right angle triangle and we have a side that we're looking for, we can use Pythagoras. That was what we did in our last set of lessons. And so now we know that the one side, because the whole rule with Pythagoras is that one side squared plus the other side squared is equal to our hypotenuse squared. And our hypotenuse is the longest side of a right angle triangle. So h squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared because of Pythagoras. And then the rest of the work here is all just equation work. So 10 squared is 100, 8 squared is 64. We minus the 8 squared, we get 36, and then we square root 36 and we get 6. So now we know that that height is 6. So anyone who got to that point, that's great. That was really good. Now we have to try and find the area. So area is equal to base times height over 2. Our base is 8. Our height is 6 over 2. And 8 times 6 is 48. So 48 divided by 2 is 24 centimeters squared. Okay. Questions? Or clarifications? Or you got something different and you want to check where you went wrong? All right. Okay, let's try another one. Oh, but 24 is your answer. That's what you wanted to get. That's just what we're looking for. That's just the area. That was it. So you did what you needed to do. Just don't forget your units of centimeters squared. Okay, so now this question, we're looking at an obtuse angled triangle. So I'm going to help you a little bit and then I'm going to let you do this one. Remember what we spoke about right in the beginning is that when we're doing the area of obtuse angle triangles, we want this part here to be our base. And then we need our perpendicular height as our height. Okay. And if you have a look in there, you will see that there is enough information for you to find that H over there. And once we have found that H, then we can just put it into our formula of base times height over 2. Okay, because this is a right angle triangle. So that was my little hint to you. Now I want you to try and work through this question and see if you can try and find the answer of what the area of triangle QRS is. So it's saying, what is the area of this triangle in here where I've colored it in orange? What is that area? And now you'll see why Pythagoras is so important.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
do you add the 9 centimeters to the 8 centimeters?
to the 11.
Yes, ma'am.
No. So that 9 centimeters, the only reason this 9 centimeters and this 15 centimeters is here is to help us with Pythagoras to find h. That's the only reason they're there. Nice. Yes, guys. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit more time to work through this. So don't panic. Nice. Well done, Oazi. Okay, let's have a look. So our first goal is we need to find that height. And in order to find that height, we're going to work with this triangle here. And we're going to use Pythagoras. So we're going to say h squared plus 9 squared. So this side plus this side is equal to our hypotenuse squared because of Pythagoras. Remember, we always have to give that reason. And we have to write the whole word. And so h squared is equal to 15 squared minus 9 squared. And we can put that straight into our calculator. So 15 squared minus 9 squared is going to give us 144, which means that h is equal to 12. So now I know that that is 12. Okay, cool. Now that I've done that, so now I know that the side over here is 12. Then I can go back to my original idea of my triangle and say, well, I care about the base and I care about the height. And so my area of my triangle is going to be 11. That's my base of my triangle, times my height of my triangle, which is 12, divided by 2, and I get 66 centimeters, and it's area squared. So a big well done to everyone who got that. That's worth a lot of marks. Just this part up here is worth 3 marks, so you've done really, really well. Okay. Well done. I'm hoping it's starting to come together and it's starting to make a little bit more sense. Sure. Which part are you feeling confused with? Do you understand the Pythagoras part in the beginning? Okay. So with Pythagoras, whenever we have a right angle triangle, so like here, we've got a right angle triangle. Whenever we have a right angle triangle and we have a missing side, in this case, h is our missing side, we always are able to use Pythagoras. And Pythagoras just means that we take the one side of the triangle. So basically Pythagoras looks like this. A, that's right angle, B and C. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. That's the rule of Pythagoras. And so we're saying we've got our one side, which is H squared. We've got our other side, which is 9 squared. And then we've got our hypotenuse, which is 15 squared. And we've just written Pythagoras because that's the reason. That's what Pythagoras is. And then this part of the work is just equation work. So we said 15 squared, we moved the 9 squared over, we put that straight into our calculator and we got H squared is 144. And then we square rooted that. And so we got H is 12. Now, once we know that H is 12, because that's the hard work to find that this over here is 12. Once we know that that's 12, to find the area of our triangle, it's not so bad because we just take our base that we know is that bottom part. We take our perpendicular height, which we've just found, and we divide it by 2 because that's the formula for the area of a triangle, and we get our answer of 66. If it's feeling a little bit overwhelming, it's just going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. Just depends on how, like some of you have seen this in class. Those of you who are with us for Pythagoras, this is going to feel like quite easy. So it just depends on which lessons you were in, where you are at school. So don't panic. Don't feel bad. Okay, for example 3, I'm going to help you with example 3 because it's new and we're going to kind of work backwards. So this is very similar to the questions we did right at the beginning of the lesson, but that was with squares and rectangles, and now it's just with triangles. Okay, so this over here, that's going to be my base, and this over here is my height because they are perpendicular to each other, and my area is 37.5. So that means, let's write our formula, area equals base times height over 2. Our area is 37.5. Our base is something we don't know. Our height is 5, and we're going to put that over 2. Now, using equation work, what is the first thing I'm going to do? Because I'm trying to get B to be alone. I want B to be isolated. I want this B to be all by himself. So what's the first thing I'm going to do in this equation?
I think you should say 5B.
Excellent. We could do that. Okay, so we could say 37.5 equals 5B over 2. I'm very happy with that. What am I going to want to do next? What's in my way?
The B, so you have to divide.
Okay, what would I have to divide by? Do you see how at the moment, because it's a fraction, it's a little bit messy? So what I could do here is I'm just going to, over here, I'm just going to write our 5B that we have just because I've got more space then. The first thing I kind of want to do is I want to get this 2 up there because I want to get rid of it. And remember when we're doing equation work, it's always opposite. So if I'm dividing by 2, when I move it up, I'm going to times by 2. And that's going to give me my 5B. Okay, and so I can now just say 37.5 times 2, which gives me 75, is equal to 5B. Now, how do I get B to be alone? What do I need to divide it by? Beautiful.
5.
Good. I'm going to divide it by 5. And so I'm going to see that B is 15. And so my base, or BC, which is my base, is 15 centimeters. Okay, so let's just go through this process again. What we have up here is our formula for the area of a triangle. Then we put in the information that we knew. So we knew that the area was 37.5. We knew that our base was B and then our height was 5. And we divided it by 2 because that's part of our formula. Next thing is we wanted to move that 2 up so that we didn't have a fraction anymore. And so we said 37.5 times 2. That gave us 75, which is equal to 5B. And so then for B to be alone, we divided both sides by 5, and we got B is equal to 15. Okay, that was that whole process. Okay. Now that I've helped you with that one, I would like you to try B. And I know it looks scary, or it looks like it's going to be different, but remember, it's exactly the same. I'm just going to highlight a few things. There, that's my height. And there, that's my base. Okay, and they've given you the area. So that's my helping hand, and I'd love for you to give this question a try. And after this question, I'll give you, I'll do our puzzle. I know it's a little bit later than normal, but I'll do our puzzle after this question. You should get a nice number, not a decimal number. No answers coming in yet. I'm surprised. Oh, Gawazi.
Is it 13?
Yes. And Canva. Well done, guys. That's awesome. It is definitely 13. Nice job. Oh, I'm doing a little happy dance on this side. Okay. So let's talk about it to those of you who are feeling confused. So our area, just remember, area is base times height over 2. Okay, so our area is 156. That's okay. Just try and follow along with me. So I'm going to speak slowly, and as soon as you get lost, just let me know. Okay, our area is 156. That's saying that this whole pink area in there is 156. That's equal to our base, which is 24, times our height, which is A, because we don't know it. Okay, and that's going to be over 2. So we're just putting that all into this formula here. So we just put in what we knew. Just to recap that, this is our area. This is our base. This is our height, which is A, and it's over 2 because that's part of the formula. So I'm now going to move this 2 up because I don't want it in my way. So I'm going to say 156 times 2, and I'm just going to write this on the right-hand side a little bit nicer as 24A. And 156 times 2 gives me 312, and that's equal to 24A. And so now if I want A to be alone, I'm going to divide both sides by 24, and I'm going to see that A is equal to 13. Or if you wrote height is equal to 13, totally fine as well. But well done to those of you who got that. That was really great. Very proud of you. Okay, I'm just going to give you a couple of, just a little bit longer to write that down for those of you who didn't get it. And then we're going to move on to our puzzle for today. And I found a Halloween themed puzzle, but it's still pictures. So we'll see if anyone can crack it today. We've got lots of champions to beat. So we'll see. Okay, that's good. Oh, good. I'm glad you know how to do it. Okay, this is my puzzle for the day. Let's see how we go. Oh, Chelsea, you were so fast last time, but no. No, it's not celebrating Halloween. It's just a Halloween puzzle. Just some pumpkins and some situations. Oh, I'm seeing one right answer.
$15.
It is definitely 15, but you were beaten to the punch. Who was our first 15? I think it was a Piwe. A Piwe, well done. You got there first. You were super, super fast. We have some big numbers coming in, but it is absolutely 15. Well done to those of you who got to 15. Let's talk through how we got there. So our little lizard with the witch's hat, they're all the same and they have to equal 30, which means each of these must be 10, which means that our lizard man over here is 10. And this has to equal 20. And our pumpkins are the same as each other. So they are each going to be 5. So we know that this pumpkin is 5 and this pumpkin is 5. And you didn't fall for my trick of the 2 bats and the 1 bat. That means that this is 2 and 2 to give me a total of 9, which means I've only got 1 bat now. And I've got 1 lizard man over there. So I've got 5 plus 10, which is equal to 15. So well done to those of you who got it. I hope that those of you who fell for the double banana in our last lesson did not fall for the double bats in this one. But a Piwe, that was super fast. Well done. Lola, did you fall for the double bats? Is that why I'm getting this emoji? No, okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
did you do body masoba? You start with multiplication and then you end with addition.
Yes, you see, so this has to happen first. So I think Chelsea came in with the 60, which would have been right if we said 5 plus 1 first. So the only way that we could have gotten 60 is if we had put this in brackets, because then we would have had 5 plus 1 first, which would have given us 6, and 6 times 10 is 60. But because this is multiplication, those two happen first. Yeah, BODMAS, it got you. We can't just forget about BODMAS. BODMAS and lizards. Where would we be without them? Okay, cool. Well done. Let's try get back into a triangle mode from here. I'm going to give you a nice question again. 2 nice questions. Can you do those 2 for me? They shouldn't take you too long. They're nice and easy ones. Just remember your formula for the triangle. Area is equal base times height over 2. Area equals base times height over 2. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. Okay, if I'm looking at A, this is going to be my base, and this is going to be my height because they are perpendicular to each other. So my area is going to be 12 times 5,8 over 2. And we can chuck that straight in. 12 times 5,8 divided by 2. And that gives us a total of 34,8 centimeters squared. Don't forget your units, guys, because it's area. If we don't have that centimeter squared, we're not working with the right thing. Okay. And in B, also a nice, easy one. That's our height. This is our base because they are at 90 degrees to each other. So our area is going to be 11 times 9 over 2, 11 times 9 over 2, which gives us a total of 49,5 meters squared because we are in area. Okay, beautiful. Can I move past these 2? Okay. I have put something here to trick you, so don't fall for my my trap. I can tell you if you if you say that the area is 56, you're wrong. So if you're getting the answer 56, try again. Ooh, okay. I'm seeing quite a few wrong answers, but I am seeing one right answer. I see some people are falling for my trap. You're just walking into my trap. Don't walk into my trap. Before I give you the whole answer, I will give you a hint to those of you who are not getting the right answer. That's my base up to there. And that's my height. And this whole distance is 14. That's my hint. Not 40, because the 10 isn't my base. Okay, so this question was nasty because I didn't know what my base is, and you thought you did because they gave you so much information, but actually they didn't, because they've told us that this full distance here is 14. But I don't want that full distance. I only want my base, which is from there to there, which means I have to find out what that little distance is so that I can minus it from 14. And in order to find out that little distance, I have to use Pythagoras. So I can say x squared plus 8 squared is equal to 10 squared because of Pythagoras, which means x squared is equal to 10 squared minus 8 squared. So x squared is equal to 100 minus 64, which is 36. And so x is equal to 6. So now I know that that distance there is 6, which means my base is going to be 14 minus 6, which gives me 8. And once I have my base, then finding my area is not so bad, because that's this dude over here. My area is base times height over 2. And I think it was only Chamo who got this one right. 32 centimeters squared. So well done. So the trick with this question, the nasty part about this question, was that you had to find what that distance was, what that x distance was, to take it away from the 14 so that you could find out what your base was. So it was actually quite a nasty question. So don't panic if you didn't get it right the first time. But hopefully now, if you see it, you will have an idea of where to go. Okay. Okay. Now, this one is similar to the ones that I did with you just now. So I have faith that you'll be able to do this question. I'm just going to write the formula again for our area of a triangle. Area equals base times height over 2. Put in the information about what you know and where you know it. And try and solve for the thing that you don't know. You should get a nice number, get a nice whole number with no decimals. You're just smashing it out the park today. Well done. This is very exciting. Okay, I'm gonna just roll it up for those of you who have finished that one. Then you can give the second one a try so long, just so that you're not sitting bored. Okay, so if you got 11 for A, then you are right. You're doing great. You don't need to listen to me talk now. I would like you to rather focus on B. If you did not get 11 for A, or you have no idea how people did get 11 for A, then please listen to me. I'm going to talk you through it now. So for A, we're going to use our formula. Area equals base times height over 2. This is my base. This is my height. Okay, because they're perpendicular to each other. So my area is equal to base, which is B, times height, which is 7, over 2. We're just putting that into the formula. Our area is 38,5. So I can actually write 38,5 for my area. The next thing I want to do is I want to move that 2 up there. So 38,5 times 2 is equal to 7B. I'm just writing B times 7 in a nicer way. So 38,5 times 2 gives us 77, which is equal to 7B. So we divide both sides by 7, and we'll see that B is equal to 11 centimeters. So well done to those of you who got there. I'm just going to give you one more minute to finish off B, and then I'll talk you through B as well. Nice job, Kamba. Also smashing it today. Well done. Yes, Nwazi. Nice job. Guys are making me feel very proud of you. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. So our area is 65. That's going to be our base, which is 13, and our height, which is what we don't know. So 13 times our height. So I can write 13h over 2. Okay, so that's base times height over 2. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that 2 up there. So 65 times 2 is equal to 13h. 65 times 2 gives us 130. And that's equal to 13h. And so we're going to divide both sides by 13. And we get h is equal to 10. And my lovely, lovely little munchkins, that's where we are going to call it a day. And I'm going to pass over to Nikayla and leave you all for the evening. But well done. You did really good work today, and I'm very proud of you all. So good job.
Hi guys, well done today. I'm just stepping in for Tula. Tula actually has just got a new baby, so he is at the hospital. Okay, so I'm just going to show the homework, and yeah, and then you guys will be done. Okay. Okay, sorry, I don't know why it's not going into full screen, but I'll just show it to you anyway. So yeah, as you can see, we are just done with area of triangles, and we have our next lesson on the 8th, which is area of circles. And yeah, to go through our leaderboard, we have 9 activities done by Keegan in first place. Well done. And Raquel has 8, very close in second place. Tiamo has 7, and Shantae has 6. So very tight competition. Well done, guys. Okay, and so for your homework, it's still going to be area and perimeter in your topics. And it is going to be area formula of a triangle, find area of obtuse triangle, and find length of side in a triangle. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this on for you guys. But well done, and all the best for studying and all the best for your exams.
Bye, everyone. Hope you have a good evening and see you on Monday, next week, Monday.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.